So we're having a late start to the vlog this week. It is already Wednesday. I had a really bad headache the last 2 days and I was not up to do much after work, to be honest, because I just felt horrible. Thankfully, the headache is gone now, so I am actually up to reading and all of that. But yeah, I don't know. I think like around once a month I get like a really bad headache. I don't know why, and it's annoying, but what can you do, right? I finished Ninth House over the weekend. I'm still giving it 4 stars. I think it's more or less one of the very few Dark Academia books that I like, mostly because it's supernatural in nature. Like more heavily on the supernatural side with all of the ghosts and communicating with them and all of that. Also, I do like me a good secret society, you know. But yeah, I'm still giving it 4 stars. It was nice to catch up on the story and remind myself what the first book was about, so that I can start the next week with Hellbent, because I am still, even though the headache is gone, I'm still a little bit hazy. I didn't want to go into Hellbent with like a bad mood, and I have been in a bad mood for the last couple of days, so I decided to go with a book that I don't like. Don't know if it's the right thing. I read the first part of the book. This is Inverted Worlds by Christopher Priest, and I really don't like it. I read it, I tried reading it once before. It's pretty much the inspiration to, I think, is it called Mortal Cities or something like that? In this one, Earth has like climate change and stuff has devastated the Earth, and people live in like this really big city that is pulled on rails to move the city, and they always need to be in like the optimal space so that the city can survive. And so the city has like a whole lot of rules. It's a really, I don't know, it's the way men and women treat each other in the book, like mostly men towards women, is really bad. And then also there are like nomadic people along the rails, and the way the people of the city treat them is also equally bad. And also they have a problem with having fewer and fewer people and not being able to keep the city running effectively. So that is so far what I've read, and our main character is the guy from a couple. They are supposed to be married, and he is now into his 10th day of his apprenticeship to, I think, kind of an engineer. Like he is outside of the city making sure the rails are okay and learning all of the stuff that has to do with the rails. And yeah, it's just a weird book. I can't get into it really, to be honest, but I think I will try to finish it. It depends on how it keeps going. I don't really know where the story wants to go. It's so weird how the people talk about each other in this book. I don't really get it, to be honest. So yeah, it's really confusing. It's also our main couple, like their parents wanted them to be a couple, and now that they are a couple and have moved into their own apartment, it becomes increasingly clear that women aren't allowed to do much in the society, and they aren't allowed to know much in the society. And Victoria is the name of the woman. She's starting to resent the guy for obvious reasons, and he's kind of confused about it in the beginning, and it's really weird, you know. I don't think it's obvious that he grew up in the system, and he's doing what like the older guys tell him to do. For one example, he gets told like he should just sleep with one of the women on the side of the track. It's a really weird book. I don't know. I don't know, but I will try to get through it. I don't know. At some point, I wanted to read all of these classics, the sci-fi masterworks. I don't know if that's a good idea anymore. This one has really broken me. It's the last one. I have read a couple of them, and after I bought this one and tried to read it, I haven't bought another one. So I really want to get through this so I can get to a couple of more interesting sci-fi classics. I might have to make myself a list of some that sound interesting to me, because this one I picked up just randomly because it was one of this series, because I really kind of like the idea of having the series in my shelves, and it was obviously a bad idea. Other than that, I finished 2 romances over the last couple of days. I had a lot of bad ones that I couldn't get through, but I finished. What did I finish? I finished Bull's Boy, which is a story about Bull works in the kitchen of his parents, or like he's supposed to take over his parents' restaurant, and Malcolm works for him. Malcolm has. That was the thing that kind of annoyed me the most about the book. Malcolm has the classical trope of being a not so tall man and making his whole personality and his dating fails about not being a big man, which I think is so dumb. But yeah, he is straight, at least he thinks so. And yeah, then his asshole of a brother is supposed to get married, and he lands into his boss's arms. The romance part was fine. I just don't like people who are like, oh, I don't have any luck in dating because I'm not tall enough. Yeah, no. Why would you want to date assholes that care about your size? It just doesn't make any sense to me to be sad about the fact that somebody doesn't want to date you because you aren't tall enough for them, because fuck those people. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impressed. I gave it 3 stars because the romance itself was cute, but the beginning was kind of weird. And then I read Ace, which is the King's Disciples Motorcycle Club book 8, and that is about Ace and Cody. And Cody has had a pretty shitty ex. He's a firefighter, and Ace is in the motorcycle club. And Ace crashes his bike into the fire engine, and they meet that way. And then Ace falls in love with Cody and kind of doesn't know what to do with that, because he's kind of surprised by his feelings. And then they feel each other out. And Cody is a little bit on the fence because of the bad experience with his ex, and there's a lot of story containing the ex in the book, which was kind of fitting, to be honest. And he's also a little bit of skeptical because of Ace being a biker and what he heard about bikers. But there's actually, like, they are actually kind of the good bikers, and they help kidnapped girls in this story, but they also do a lot more. And yeah, it was a really good book. 4 stars for that one. I really like that one. Sadly, the rest of the books in the series didn't sound interesting to me, only that one. But yeah, that was also a really good read. And yeah, I had a lot of books that I didn't have like 10 pages in and stuff like that because they started so weird. So yeah, don't know. I need to find a new one. Other than that, I did a whole lot of cross-stitching. Let me show you. You can now actually tell that the girl is sitting there. So yeah, I will work on that one now, and I will see you with an update on the book. Hopefully I can make some more progress in it. I don't want to DNF it, but it's also just really not a good read. So we'll see how I will handle that. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully I can make up for the late start of this vlog. But yeah, we'll see. So I've now continued with Inverted Worlds, and I'm just gonna have to say I find it pretty boring. It goes more into the like classical sci-fi. Our main character has ventured out, and he has seen how the world changes depending on where you go in the world, and has kind of come to a lot of like weird discoveries on his journeys. And once he came back, he realizes that time works different depending on where you are on Earth, like where you move to. And his wife has like thought he's dead and has taken a new husband. There was a revolt, and his son has died. One of the problems is that most babies that are born in the city are male, and so they take women from like the wilds to get female babies. It's a weird concept, the book. Like it's pretty much the trope of like desperation on like the higher leadership levels to keep things going, and maybe it's not ideal to keep things going, but at the same time, our main character is trying to figure out why they try to keep things going as they are and how Earth got destroyed in the first place. And that's pretty much where we're going with the book. I just find it to be really boring, to be honest. I think I'm much more of a leaving Earth kind of a sci-fi person and less of a dystopian future, but there isn't really any supernatural about it. It's just a destroyed Earth and there isn't really much hope and people are just shitty to one another now. I feel like that is what describes this book quite well. And yeah, I'm not fond of the characters, which also doesn't help. But yeah, I will actually finish reading it, which is great. I'm feeling good about the fact that I'm actually reading it. So maybe I can go and buy me another book of these then in the future. But yeah, it's nothing that I find interesting and nothing that I would actually seek out to read. So if this wouldn't have been a classic, I think I would have never picked it up. So yeah, I mean, that kind of shows you a little bit about the concept of like, you have to read you don't have to read that book. If you're interested, if that is your type of sci-fi, why not? But for me, it's really boring sci-fi. So yeah, but I will continue with that. I don't think I finished any romance. I have a little bit of a problem getting into the books that I'm finding, and the search on Canon Unlimited seems to be broken because I can't go past a certain page. It just keeps like crashing if I go past a certain page to search for the books. It's really weird. I have to find out what is up with that. But I'm currently reading Lair, which is connected to the Immortal Assassin series. So I'm thinking going back to that series and just skipping the book where I don't really like the main characters and maybe see if I like the other main characters, because I do like the main characters of Lair, which we have one, like it plays after the Immortal Assassin series, so I've kind of spoiled myself a little bit, but there's an uprising in Immortal Assassins where like two vampire clans crash, and the main character in Lair is one of the vampires that was like a victim in the conflict, and he joins Ives and his family, and he finds his fated mate at the Lair, which is the club that Ives owns, which is like a vampire kind of BDSM club. And yeah, his mate, who doesn't know he's his mate and he doesn't know vampires exist, comes to New Onyx to just find out more in life. He's 35, or 33. He wants to live a little bit, and so he finds the club, and they're probably going from there. I'm like 30 pages in, so we'll see. But so far I do really like both main characters. I've forgotten the name, but like the not vampire guy doesn't really label himself. He's like, he thinks he's straight, but he doesn't care either way. So, which I find is quite nice and refreshing. So far I really like those. And yeah, that is what I will continue reading tonight. And then I'm still focusing on the cross stitch because there's, I want to do other projects, but my brain needs this to be finished, which is kind of annoying because I would love to do some knitting, but I can't think about knitting whilst this is not finished. It's how my brain works. I don't like it, but I'm a slave to my brain. But yeah, this is how far I am. So it is taking shape, but it is slow progress. And yeah, I do love it, but my brain is weird sometimes. So yeah, that is the update for today. I will see you tomorrow with the finished verdict on Inverted Worlds and maybe the finished verdict on the romance that I'm reading. Okay, let's talk reading. Whilst I get a little bit of caffeine in me, which I've got a Pepsi strawberry and cream soda, which is really rare to get. Here in Germany, we only get the boring soda flavors, so kind of nice. I do really like those. Let's talk reading, and then my Evernight came yesterday. I finished Inverted Worlds. I'm really proud of myself. I found this book to be extremely boring. The ending is somewhat satisfying, which I suspected because most sci-fi books have like somewhat of a satisfying ending. I just didn't click with the characters at all. And I just found this to be boring. I might be judgy when it comes to that, but yeah, for me this is just not it when it comes to sci-fi. It is too normal, too much, like you can tell that it's obviously like a depiction of like a society that the author deemed rather bad and weird for like certain parts of it. I just don't get why people like this book, to be honest. I mean, obviously this book has been written in 1974, so we have a lot of like more newer novels that I feel like gem more with myself, and where I like the a similar topic but like depicted in a way that I enjoyed more. So maybe it's like, because obviously it is a classic, and in the time that it was written, maybe it was like really, really good and interesting. But for me, this feels like just like a really boring book. And yeah, don't really know what else to tell you about it. I obviously don't want to spoil the ending, even though it is a classic. I just hate spoilers. And I feel like to really get the gist of the story, you kind of have to read it yourself and like see for yourself what the story wants to like give you and tell you. It's just, I'm giving it 2 stars, which seems harsh, but like I was so bored reading it. I don't really think I can give it anything else without being like true to myself whilst giving the rating. Then I finished the Lair novel. I don't even know if it has another name, but the one I talked to you about yesterday, which is called, let me look that up, where is it? Feral, Wicked Knights Lair, at Lair Book 1. I liked that one. I'm realizing I tried reading the main series after that, and I don't mesh well with like the other characters from the main series. I just find them to be too like awkward. It's obvious that Mia Monroe, the author, tried to like really make the main series, the main characters like stand out from one another, but like that makes them slightly one-dimensional at parts. And I felt with this book, I felt like that wasn't it. Hale which is the main character, is just your average vampire. Like he doesn't really have that much of like a stand-outish personality, which I really enjoyed. And I really liked his partner, which I've forgotten what his name is. And it's not here, it's not said here. What is his name? Tell me what his name is. Janus is the human main character. I really like their relationship. There's also like Janus's brother is involved in the story as well, which I really liked. It also gave like the plot of the story has something to do with mafia moving in, like some gangsters from another city moving into New Onyx, and for some reason targeting Janus. And Hale has to like keep him safe, and then the brother of Janus's comes in unexpectedly, and they have to, technically they don't want to explain them being vampires to him or like ease him in slowly, but they can't do that because of certain things that happen in the story. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really like that. I'm giving that 4 stars. I'm really sad to see that there is only one book in the series, and this came out in 2024, so I'm hoping that she will continue the series. I'm really sad if she doesn't, because I do really like the start of that. And the Lair, which is the vampire club where Hale works and Janus is also, is like a really interesting club. I would love to hear more about the different aspects of the club. So maybe we will get more books. I don't really know, but I would love more books in that series. Don't know what book I will read next. Romance-wise, but I will find out tonight. And then I got my Evernight, and I was so excited when I pulled this book out of the box. I did that yesterday with my partner. My partner loves to see what I get in the boxes. And as soon as I saw the author, I was like, yes! And then I saw the story and I was like, oh, I don't know. But I love the author. We actually got another book by Kylie Lee Baker, which is the author of Bed Eater, which I really loved. And this one is samurai themed. It's called Japanese Gothic, and the back says the way of the samurai is found in death. And I don't know what it's about yet, but the front has 2 years, which is 2025 and 1877. So yeah. Ooh. Okay, no, I'm really excited for the story now. Technically, I don't love samurai stories. I find them interesting in like a non-fiction sense, but so far I haven't gotten like a fictional samurai story where I was like really invested. So I was slightly skeptical. But now that I read the mini blurb in the beginning, it's not time travel. It's like our 2 main characters, which is Lee, who hid a body, seemingly, and doesn't know what to do. And then we have Sen, who is a female samurai in 1877, and they find a doorway through which they can see each other. And both have problems. Obviously, Lee with the body, and Sen having to try and help her family and make sure they're safe, because her father came back from a war and he isn't her father anymore. He seems really weird. And they seemingly live in the same house, and the house connects them somehow. And that is the story, which sounds super interesting. I'm super excited for this book. I will start this tomorrow because I cannot wait. I love this version. We have like I think they are like bamboo partitions, and then we have Sen looking through here in blood. And then here we have, I think, Lee's shadow. And then if you take the dust jacket off, you have like the wonderful scene when they can see each other. And if you take that off, we have a body and blood, and it looks so cool. When I saw that, I was so excited. But yeah, as I loved Bed Eater, I'm hopeful that I will love this as well. I'm super excited to have a repeat author in the Evernight, because yeah, it's amazing. I love it. So yeah, I will start this one tomorrow morning, and then we can get like a bit of the beginning in this vlog, and then we can see. But I don't have an amazing amount of time tomorrow morning because we need to go run some errands and do some shopping and all of that. I need some food stuff. We have to drive around for that because I can't get it right here. So I don't know how much time I will have to read, but I will start this tomorrow morning. And yeah, other than that, I'm continuing my cross stitch. This is my main focus for today, and I gotten around to quite a bit of the head now. So I'm working. I did also do a little bit of the skirt, but I'm now working on the head and try to do the cross stitch from here. We'll see how that works out, but my focus is on that. I want to finish this. It'll probably take me a little while still, but yeah, that is what I'm up to, and I will see you tomorrow with an exciting beginning to Japanese Gothic and whatever romance I will pick up for tonight. So yeah, I'm so excited for that book. Okay, so I did not start Japanese Gothic. I did not get around to that this morning. It is now afternoon already, and I probably won't read anything physical today. We just had a lot of errands to run and stuff to do, and I just got stuck in my cross stitch, which I'm gonna show you in a minute. I did read a romance book yesterday, which is Relic by Mia Monroe. I'm currently trying to just read through everything by Mia Monroe that I like, because if I do like a book by her, I really love it. And yeah, Relic is a fantasy supernatural romance between a vampire and a mortal, coupled with witches and magic and all of that. And it's set in New Orleans, which I really love. If I could ever like travel to America, which like with the current political climate, I won't do that. But if that ever gets better, New Orleans is one of the cities I would love to visit because of the rich history of the city. So I love the fact that she set like a vampire romance in New Orleans. And it's pretty much the mortal, which I've already forgotten the names, which I'm really sorry about. But the mortal kind of gets the inkling to go to New Orleans, and he is running from an ex that kind of made him his like errand boy, but like in the illegal way, and he saw it too late, and then his ex wanted him to murder somebody, and he was like, nope, I'm gonna have to get out of here. And he meets Horatio is the vampire's name. He meets Horatio because he gets stalked by an infected vampire, and Horatio kills the infected vampire and then takes him under his wing. And at first, I was really skeptical of the novel because Horatio uses like a lot of like coercion, like this vampire coercion that all of her vampires have in all of her novels, to make the mortal forget things and to make him do things and say things. And at first, I was really afraid that we're gonna have a problem with consent here. But thankfully, the story like goes off from there, and actually like Horatio makes it so that he can remember everything, and he gives him a renewed choice of what he's gonna do, because he's obviously in danger, because the infected vampires keep harassing him and Horatio is trying to keep him safe. And the romance goes from there, and the story as well. And I really liked it, so I give it 4 stars. It was a really good read. I really liked it. So now I downloaded a couple of more of Mia Monroe's books. I tried another one yesterday, but I didn't love that one. So hers are really hit or miss, but if I like them, I really like them. And if I don't like them, they're fine, but I won't finish them. So yeah, I got a couple from her through Hand Unlimited, and I will probably read another one of those tonight. And then, while being out and running errands, I picked another book up. This cover just screamed to me. It's called Itch by Gemma Armour, an author I've never heard of. And this is a horror book, which I'm super excited about. And in this one, Josie, our main character, stumbles across a dead person in the woods that is covered in ants. And she plummets in like a downward spiral, and then she feels like something is growing inside her body and her mind, and the horror seems to go from there. And there's a masked predator on the hunt for women, so we have like kind of like a little bit of like a true crime component, like a crime component in there. And then there's an annual festival, and that plays into the story somewhere. But yeah, I don't know why, but this cover just reminded me of like old school horror movies, and I had to pick it up. So I did pick it up. I do, when I run errands, I have to go into a bookstore, and I can't leave without a book. So yeah, I will have to read that in maybe like next week. I have so much I need to read. I'm not good with physical reads right now. Mostly because my head is still stuck on the cross stitch, but as you can see, I did get quite a bit of the head done. I have to fill in pretty much all of this still, but yeah, I'm really trying to get a lot done today. We'll see. And other than that, I finished 100%ing Vampire Crawlers, which was a lot of fun. So I did finish a video game at least, and so yeah, I can start the next one tomorrow to 100%. And yeah, that is pretty much all for today. I will end the vlog here now because I do need to start editing as well today still. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week's vlog. Even though, did I even finish a book? Oh yeah. Even though the main sci-fi I read wasn't the greatest this week, and yeah, there was a lot of romance, and yeah, a weird week, to be honest. But next week will be great because I only have to work 3 days next week, which is amazing. So I'm hopefully gonna get a lot more done next week. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, for watching, for commenting. If you aren't, maybe subscribe to the channel. I would really love that, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye!